Common mistakes when staring at a woman, what you shouldn't do. I'm sure you've already looked at a woman to try and flirt with her. She noticed you were looking and you didn't know exactly how to act, am I right? In this video, you will learn what are the common mistakes that men make when looking at a woman, what not to do and what to do instead. I'm Pamela Raquel, a specialist in relationships and conquest, and I help you become a more confident man and conquer a worthy woman. I'm sure you've been in a weird situation where you exchanged glances with a woman. You looked, she looked back, but looked away soon after. You didn't know the meaning of that or what to do, and nowadays it's quite common for some men to say, "Don't look at women in any way," or they'll say you're ugly. But the truth is that you're only running the risk of having your look misinterpreted if you do it the wrong way or in the wrong environment. Then pay attention now. Ways to look at a woman that you definitely shouldn't do. The first is to look at the woman's body. The flirt zone, like a woman you want to meet or that you getting to know, it's from the neck up. If you want to get positive attention from a woman, and here I'm talking about getting positive attention from a woman who is potentially a woman of value, a woman for you to have a relationship with, you must look at this woman from the neck up, that is, into the eyes. You can even look at the mouth, because that area between the eyes and mouth doesn't allow people to differentiate well if you're a little away from it. So, avoid looking at the body. That woman who you think is super beautiful with her body might pass by. Wonderful. Avoid looking at her body if you want to draw positive attention and don't want to run the risk of getting into trouble. Another wrong way of looking that you shouldn't do is looking obsessed. Having anyone's gaze fixated on you is disturbing. Imagine now that you get on a subway and there is a person who doesn't stop looking at you. You look to the side, up, read a book, look at your cell phone, and when you notice, she's always looking at you. It's a little scary. You don't know what that means exactly. In today's world, a person looking obsessively at us can represent a danger. They are, in fact, afraid of being victims of something more serious. So, avoid looking at the woman, regardless of who she is, how beautiful you think she is, or how much you think she is showing signs of interest. Okay, Pamela, I already understand that looking at a woman's body is not cool. I already imagined that. And neither does looking obsessively. But how to get it right? Understand one thing, all women, both interested and not interested, and not to say all, let's say most of them, will look at a man as looking at her and they will look away. It's a practically automatic behavior. The look that a man is looking at first glance and holding a glance is an extremely rare attitude, reserved for very confident women who have practiced flirting. Which are rare. Now, pay attention to this detail. There are two ways a woman can look away when you look at her. The first way is for her to look at you, that is, to look at you and look away. This deviation to the side tends to be a more avoidant posture, a posture of a woman who is not interested. As for swerving downwards, when a woman swerves downwards, it tends to be an involuntary gesture resulting from the increase in adrenaline in her body, was embarrassed. Then she lowered the eyes. It is logical that this woman can also look down because she was extremely embarrassed and doesn't know what to do, but most of the time, this look down is shame with interest, and the look to the side is disinterest. She doesn't want to stick to the person in front of her. So, knowing this, but knowing that this is not the only indication of interest that a woman can give from a distance. She may also have her feet pointed towards you. This is one of the signs that will compose the interest scale. It could be getting ready, moving her clothes, getting ready after she saw you were looking at her, improving the hair. These are all observable signs, and the fact is, if you look at a woman, you're in the same room and you notice that she looks back at you frequently, looks down and looks again, the best way to know if that look is a look of genuine curiosity about whether you are going to talk to this woman. And talking to a woman doesn't mean you come up and say, "Wow, I thought you were really beautiful, I was looking at you." No, nowadays, the best way for you to approach a woman is to start a conversation in an indirect way, talking about something you observed in the environment you are in, something about her that is easy to observe. This is a way that establishes a lot of comfort to the women. And the best way to know if that look is actually a look of curiosity is to talk to the woman. Don't wait too long to talk to the woman. I receive messages from men who spend a week looking at a woman in the same environment they live in. Spend a week looking, try to understand what her look means, and don't speak. In other words, total fear, insecurity. And this is the worst of all worlds, because you start to become a person who obsessively looks at this story and becomes weird. Because for women, they also don't understand what's happening. Wow, why does he look at me so much and not come talk to me? And at the same time, women don't know how to give clear and totally explicit signs of interest, like the ones you see in the movie. That woman who looks, gives a little smile and validation. This is extremely rare. I even have a video with thousands and thousands of views about what you should do when a woman looks at you. I highly recommend that you watch this video, so you understand what a huge waste of energy and time it is to just look at a woman. So, you found a beautiful and interesting woman, don't stare at her body. Look at her face and don't spend hours or days on end looking at this woman obsessively without doing anything. If it's a woman who is apparently single and you find it interesting, it's best to look for a short while, see if this woman looks at you and then looks away 2 or 3 times. But you don't necessarily need that. The important thing is that you talk to this woman as quickly as possible, open a simple conversation to speak the environment, because then you will see openness, reciprocity, be able to see the other signs that a woman gives when she is open, through conversation, see if these signs exist. So you don't waste your precious time, not to mention that this attitude demonstrates masculine energy, it's a man's attitude. And I invite you to watch my other video now, what you should do when a woman looks at you. If you've made it this far, comment below with the word 100% to confirm that you received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. When it comes to attracting younger women, younger guys, in principle, have an advantage for the simple fact that people tend to relate to other people in the same age group, because naturally their social cycle tends to be the same age range you are. And so, younger guys are closer to younger girls. However, on the other side of the coin, these younger men, in most cases, are shyer and have little confidence due to the fact that they have less experience. A young girl, say between the ages of 18 and 20, is primarily attracted by primal signs of attraction, just like older women. But here's the surprising part, because young girls are still developing, they're easier to be attracted to the prime signals in a man. All you need to do is demonstrate these characteristics and signs. In the case of younger girls, the power of these characteristics is magnified 3 times more. A lot of these younger, lack of confidence guys may not find their inner confidence until they're in their 30s or 40s, and that can be a huge hindrance. If you're a younger guy, all you need to do is learn the prime signs of attraction that work on all girls. The faster you have this knowledge and put it into practice, you will improve and it will become easier to attract women. Aware of this, let's move on to the most valuable tips. Number 1, maturity. If you want to attract a younger woman, one thing you have to demonstrate to her is that you are mature. The main reason a younger woman looks for an older guy, although you may think it's money, which is partly true, but the main thing she wants to find is maturity in a man, something younger men they don't have it at her age. Just because you're, say, 10 years older than her doesn't mean you're going to behave as if you were 10 years younger. Don't do that, because what she wants to see is whether you are more adult than her. If she notices that you act like guys her age who are insecure, clingy, use cheap pickup lines and demand attention from her, she will see that, even though you are older, you don't have the maturity she is looking for. However, if you demonstrate that you know what you want in life, that you are a balanced and mature guy, you will be halfway there to win over this girl. Number 2, maintain good eye contact. Many men think that having good eye contact is looking into a woman's eyes constantly, but this is actually scary and will intimidate a woman. Look into her eyes for a few seconds, then naturally look away, then look back at her again. Maintaining good eye contact with a younger girl will be essential. As much as she may seem uninhibited and talkative, however outwardly she may not yet show her insecurities, deep down, more than ever, she has her insecurities and she still hopes to be led by a safe and confident man. Being able to have good eye contact in the interaction will convey that you are safe. Not maintaining eye contact with people, especially girls, is a huge sign of emotional weakness and lack of confidence. She's used to younger, inexperienced and unconfident guys approaching her, and these guys barely look her in the eye, not to mention the times they don't pay attention to her either and keep their faces on their cell phone screen. Therefore, by having good eye contact you will come out ahead of them. Number 3, don't act like a big boy. If you're much older, definitely don't act like a big boy. There's nothing more ridiculous than an older guy acting like a boy to a girl. Pay attention, if you are already 30 or over, stop acting like teenagers. This will not help you attract younger girls. Because just by looking at you, she knows that you are not as young as you used to be and you shouldn't behave that way. Number 4, don't act grumpy. This is the other extreme of the previous tip, which is that you act like an old man with them. Just because they want a mature guy doesn't mean they want a guy with an old man attitude. Don't try to demonstrate that you have a young spirit, but within your age profile, avoid behaving like an old guy, being too serious, talking to her only about political matters or complaining about life. Many people, as they get older, start to get into the habit of complaining about everything. Don't do this as it is not attractive at all. Convey to her that you are a mature guy, but without losing the energy and youthfulness of your age. Talk to her about current affairs, music, films, series, physical activities, and show that you are fun. They will appreciate it, and you will be more likely to connect with them. Number 5, demonstrate value. Don't start making it a priority at any stage of your life. A man must continue working on his progress, so have your chores and activities, stay busy and don't be available to her all day. You have important things to do. This shows that you are not like some younger guys who make women their sunshine, and not like some older guys who seem desperate. You don't need to imply that you have relationships with several women, but you can imply that you also have more options. This will all make her see you with greater value. Number 6, be a leader. One thing younger women admire in an older man is leadership traits. She thinks that because he is more experienced, he knows how to lead. If you're going out with her, don't invite her by saying something like, "I was thinking, would you like to go out with me? If you're free at the weekend, could we go out?" Or "Any day you can. What would you like to do?" By inviting her in this way, you convey that you are not busy, but that you have time to spare, conveying a bit of insecurity and low leadership skills. This will be a low-value demonstration. Those who generally act this way are younger and inexperienced boys. Instead, invite her by saying something along the lines of, "My week is pretty busy, but I'll be free on Saturday. Can we see each other and go watch the release of that movie? Or are we going to a really nice restaurant?" Suggest a place or two based on what you've talked to her or seen on her social media. You can know what she will like, and that way you can be assertive. This way of inviting will convey leadership skills and more value. If you think it's worth it, you can surprise her by taking her to a different and sophisticated place. This way you will differentiate yourself from other guys who usually invite her to almost always the same places. Number 7, avoid getting frustrated and wasting time. This tip is for you to check first if she doesn't like older men. It's good to do this because some girls might not like it. They may even be attracted to the man, but when they discover his age, they do not continue the relationship. If you just want something casual, okay, it's simpler. Now, if you intend to have a serious relationship, get into the topic of age and say your age. If you want a serious commitment, don't lie about your age, as you would already be trying to create a relationship by starting with a lie, where later, at some point, you will probably tell your true age, and when they see that you lied, then moving forward, she tends to no longer trust you. So, say your age without fear, and the right girl will want to keep getting to know you. If you are much older than the girl, around 15 or 20 years older, be ready for possible prejudices that you may face in society. And if it's a healthy relationship and you're happy, it doesn't matter what they think. When meeting younger women, be smart. Some younger girl might try to take advantage of you financially, since you have already developed your confidence internally. If you have money, that's good, use it to improve yourself externally, taking care of your appearance, hair, teeth, shape, clothes, among other things. This way, you will be a complete package and you won't really need to use money as the main attraction and attract interested women. The best version of yourself physically, with your maturity and developed self-confidence, added to these tips, will make you attract girls without difficulty. If you've made it this far, comment below with the word 100% to confirm that you received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. This is why rejection is a blessing for you, Stoicism. Watching this video until the end will force you to see rejection in a completely different way, which could forever change the way you deal with rejection in your life. Let's get to the content. Who among us has never felt pain and anguish when rejected? Because this is how human beings and men naturally tend to react after a rejection, whether due to a discarded proposal, a denied job opportunity, or especially when being harshly rejected by a woman and having their investments and feelings unrequited. The vast majority of people absorb the impact of this rejection, taking it personally, starting to feel inferior and incapable. It's as if rejection can define their value. However, there is a different way of looking at rejection, a way where, instead of being painful and difficult to digest, rejection becomes a gift. This way of dealing with rejection is a principle of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that is making a strong resurgence in modern times. The Stoics had a unique and powerfully empowering approach to dealing with adversity. They divided the world into two categories: things we have control over and things we don't have control over. This is known as the dichotomy of control. So, what would be in our control, according to Stoicism? Only our own thoughts, behaviors, and actions. External events from the past or future, other people, and essentially rejection, are all beyond our control. The Stoics said that recognizing and accepting this dichotomy is the first step to living a good and fulfilling life. They believed that the best thing to do is to focus our energy on the things we can change and accept the things we cannot. Rejection fits into this, as it is an external event. It is something that happens to us, not because of us, as we cannot control whether someone will reject our ideas, our feelings, or our efforts. Now, what we can control is how we react to rejection. The magnificent historical perspective on adversity, including rejection, is to see it as a natural part of life, an opportunity to learn lessons and evolve, rather than seeing it as a personal defeat. They saw rejection as a chance to practice and improve resilience and develop our character. Through this point of view, it is possible to take the weight of rejection away and see it as a step towards your growth. But in depth about the historical approach, rejection is not a personal attack. It is simply part of the natural order of life. It is as natural as the changing of the seasons or the ebb and flow of the tides. Understanding this is essential to changing our perspective on rejection. Rejection, as an event beyond our control, whether people reject our proposal, our investment, or our love, is based on their judgment, circumstances, and their choices according to what they can see at that moment. Either way, these are external factors that are not in our control. The Stoics understood this and so did not allow themselves to be brought down by rejection. However, this does not mean that they were completely indifferent to rejection. On the contrary, the historical ones believed that rejection has a lesson for us. They used rejection as a tool for self-improvement and personal growth. When having an idea rejected, the historical would ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve my idea? How to communicate it better next time?" They didn't dwell on the bad feelings of being rejected, but instead chose to focus on learning and growing from that experience. To prove in practice how rejection can be accepted as a beautiful gift in your life, I'm going to open up a little and summarize my last and initially difficult experience with rejection. Before learning about these principles of Stoicism, I naturally always had the mentality of taking rejections as additional motivation to improve myself. As I evolved, rejections with people became rarer, the options of people became more abundant, and this put me in a comfortable position. in my last experience with rejection, because, in that case, I didn't care to respect some phases with him. Although I had my reasons and unforeseen events, I can say that I myself contributed to that fact. And that, for a long time, the person had shown enormous genuine interest in me. Only later did I realize that he was a really interesting person who had everything needed to create a great relationship. And the way it ended up giving me the feeling of having been rejected, after so long, after so many experiences with men, that really hurt my ego deeply. At first, sometimes it seemed inevitable not to fall into feelings of regret, resentment, and how I should have acted differently. However, I knew that clinging to what had already become the past and letting regrets and negative feelings consume me would only make me regress. I analyzed that whole situation and literally made a list of things that I could fix, improve, and evolve about myself. That experience gave me motivation to seek growth in various areas of my life, where I soon began to see results. I could list the amount of progress and achievements I acquired motivated by that experience. As much as I didn't wish I had gone through that experience, it felt like I really needed to go through it so I could learn what I learned and become an even better woman. I'll tell you in very clear English, the harder the kick in your ass, the further forward you can go. If you know how to take advantage of the momentum. Now, going back to the historical view, another interesting point is that they understood that not every rejection is necessarily a reflection of their deficiencies. Sometimes rejection happens simply because of the other person's circumstances, preferences, or understanding of the situation, and that's okay because it's part of the natural order of things. Of course, we can still add that in some cases, rejection, in the end, ends up being a deliverance. Now, the principle for having rejection as a gift is, instead of seeing it as an adversity or failure, see it as an opportunity that can foster your personal growth. Furthermore, rejection can change our perspective. She reminds us that life isn't always about getting what we want, it's about appreciating what we have and finding contentment within ourselves. It teaches us that our value is not determined by the validation of others, but rather by our virtue and character. So the next time you face rejection, instead of lamenting the disappointment, ask yourself, what is the gift here? This subtle change in perception will bring positive results in your life. If you want to evolve as a woman, demonstrate the value of reciprocity. If you've made it this far, comment below with the word 100% to confirm that you received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. I'll see you in the next video.